It does, maybe not always, because we always need, to calculate how it affects other issues, and we don't want to affect other issues. But actually, the reason why I decided to identify myself was the truth, and I thought that now I'm fighting for Musab's life. There was no doubt that if he goes back to the West Bank, people will kill him. And actually now I need to face some accusers from the Shin Bet about the fact that I exposed myself.
So hold on a second. So Israeli intelligence may have problems with you coming out in the open to support him.
Yeah, they already contacted my lawyer, and they said that the fact that I say in public that Musab is my friend and I met him during the time I worked in the Shin Bet is a violation of the law.
All right, guys, stay with us. We want to bring in somebody who I think is sympathetic to your cause as well. What are they afraid of disclosing when it comes to Washington's attempt to deport him? Former ambassador to the United Nations, John Bolton, joining us now with his view. First of all, it's an extraordinary case, isn't it, Ambassador?
Well, you can't make this sort of stuff up. I mean, this is really your government at work. But I think we also have to remember the old Washington adage, 99% of all conspiracies in the federal government turn out to be simple mistakes. And I think at least part of what we had here, I hope so anyway, is Homeland Security starting down one road for deportation and not seeing the obvious facts that should have led them to reconsider. So here's a lesson we ought to draw from this. There are friends of the United States who have been in difficult circumstances. I think of translators in Iraq or in Afghanistan who have helped our country that we need to protect. And although we look to Homeland Security to keep the terrorists out, we want to let our friends in as well.
But this case, Ambassador, normally I understand what you're saying and mistakes are made, but everybody has known the details of this case for months now, and for them just to come to the decision now, don't you think it was the political pressure rather than some mistake that forced the change?
Well, you're a very good-hearted man. Never underestimate the capability of the federal bureaucracy to get an idea in its head and not be able to shake it out.
That's a good point. I've seen that happen, yeah.
I do agree with the point you made earlier, though, and I think this is important. I think it's important for the Obama administration and the Department of Homeland Security. Something obviously went wrong here. If there was political pressure, somebody ought to own up to it and say we made a mistake. If it was some other reason, they ought to make that clear, too, because we want to be able to encourage people who have had a change of heart, members of Hamas, members of Al-Qaeda. We want them to come forward. We need that information, and they need to know that if they do that, to put their lives on the line, that we will cover them and bring them into this country.
And Gonen, I mean, the point is there was some question about whether or not Mossad was sincere in his beliefs. That's one reason why you came out. But you were clearly informing the United States government, either directly or through back channels, that he was the real thing, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. This is the main reason why I came and why I was supposed to testify, and happily I did not have to testify.
All right. Well, Mossad, one question that is vital here is whether or not I don't know any other way to say it, but the persecution of you began with this new administration, with the Obama administration, or did it start with the previous administration, the Bush administration?
In fact, I asked for political asylum during the Bush administration, and I don't think that this is because of the policy of the new government. I think there was a bureaucratic problem, and I just want to not to doubt the efforts of the Department of Homeland Security, because finally they dropped the case. And sometimes mistakes can happen.
Well, and again, look, you're in a delicate. Hold on a second. You're in a delicate situation. I understand it. You're not a citizen yet.
You can say that, David. I am not American yet. I'm not American citizen yet. So you can say that. You can say that I am a guest in this country and I respect this country.
Well,
if there's anything wrong, I will be very honest.
We understand, and a guest has to act like a guest, and you're being very cooperative in that sense. But I'll throw this back to John Bolton. There's a guy named Arif Ali Khan who began with the Department of Homeland Security under the Obama administration. He spoke at a fundraiser apparently for the Muslim Public Affairs Council, which has had relationships in the past with groups affiliated with Hamas. I mean, is there this whole connection with this administration and some of their questionable relations with Hamas that might have led to this problem?
Well, I think that's something that we ought to find out the truth about. And I think to the extent there's any intimation that there was a reprisal at work here against this asylum request, we need to get it out. So I think this is a perfect subject for a congressional hearing because while every individual case is important, and certainly this one is, there are also potentially other cases down the road. We can't afford to have a system that doesn't work. We want, on one hand, we want to keep the real terrorists out, but on the other hand, when we have people who are cooperating with us, we need to be able to give them protection, to give them the assurance that we can exfiltrate them from difficult situations and bring them to this country.
Ambassador John Bolton, Gonen Ben-Itzhak from Israel, and of course Mossab Hassan Yosef, author of Son of Hamas. Mossab, I'm very happy. I can't wait to celebrate with you when you become a U.S. citizen. Please stay in touch with us, all right?
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much. Congratulations. God bless.